Hey, welcome. So, you've got a big exam coming up on the stock market, right? Or maybe you're just tired of hearing about it on the news and not really knowing what it all means. Either way, you're in the right place. In the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down step by step so you can walk into that test feeling confident or just, finally understand what everyone's talking about. Let's dive in.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to nail down what the stock market actually is. Then, we'll get into its three biggest jobs, what it does for our economy. After that, we'll connect the dots and see why it really matters to all of us. And we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways you'll definitely want to remember. Think of it as your study guide in 4 simple steps.
All right, let's jump right into section 1 and tackle the big question. What on earth is the stock market? We hear the term thrown around constantly, on TV, in movies, all over the internet. But what are people actually talking about? Let's clear up the confusion.
So, when you hear that phrase, what picture pops into your head? Is it a bunch of people in suits shouting on a trading floor? Or maybe some giant whirring supercomputer? The truth is, it's a little bit of all of that. And also something much, much simpler.
Okay, here's the official textbook definition, but don't get bogged down by the fancy words. The most important word here is network. The stock market isn't just one physical building on Wall Street. It's a huge, interconnected digital network that links exchanges all around the world, like the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. It's basically the global arena where little pieces of companies are bought and sold.
But let's boil it down even more. Seriously, if you remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. Buying a stock means you are buying a tiny, tiny slice of ownership in a company. That's it. You become a part owner, an equity holder. So if you own 1 share of Apple, you literally own a microscopic piece of the company that makes your iPhone. Pretty cool, right?
Okay, so we've got the what. Now let's get into the how. How does this whole thing actually work? Well, the market plays 3 absolutely crucial roles in the economy. And if you're studying for an exam, you're going to want to pay close attention here. This stuff is definitely going to be on the test. Let's break these 3 down. First up, capital formation. This is just a formal way of saying the market helps companies raise money. When a company wants to build a new factory or invent something new, they can sell off those tiny pieces of ownership, shares, to get the cash they need. That first big sale is called an IPO, or initial public offering. Second, it provides liquidity. Now that's just a fancy word that means you can easily turn your shares back into cash. The market guarantees there are always people looking to buy and sell, so your money doesn't get stuck. And third, it's an economic barometer. The stock market is kind of like the economy's pulse. When the market's doing well, it's usually a pretty good sign the whole economy is healthy. And if it's struggling, well, that can be an early warning sign.
Which brings us to maybe the most important question of all. Okay, so what? Why should I care about any of this? It's a fair question. So let's look at the real-world impact the market has on pretty much everyone.
Let's look at this table. For companies, we already know the market is like rocket fuel. It gives them the funding they need to grow, hire people, and create new things. For the public, that's you and me. It's one of the most powerful tools out there for growing our savings for big life goals, like retirement. And for the economy as a whole, the market acts like a giant traffic director, efficiently pointing money toward the most promising and innovative businesses, which helps the entire economy grow. It's a cycle that, when it's working right, benefits everybody.
All right, we have covered a lot of ground, so let's bring it all home and boil it down to the absolute must-know points. For anyone prepping for that exam, this next slide is pure gold. This is your cheat sheet.
Okay, time to lock these in. Number 1, the stock market is a network, not a single place. 2, buying a stock means you own a small piece of a company. 3, remember its 3 key roles: raising capital for businesses, providing liquidity for investors, and acting as an economic barometer for all of us. Put it all together, and you can see it's an essential engine for our entire economy.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. We've said the market is an economic barometer, a sign of our collective economic health. So, the next time you see the headlines about whether the market is up or down, ask yourself this question. What story is it telling us about our economy right now? Thanks for tuning in.